Part 2.
Made appearance, the internet laughs.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's a lie. You need to research this. Did Steven ever accept?
They said you were
Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you. Let me explain. Hey, whoa, Sam.
And you literally
Sam, sweetheart. Sam, fake stand-up comic who we can't find any footage about online. Let me finish.
I'm not a stand-up comic.
Okay, pause it for a second.
But we don't know who you are.
We don't know who you are, but we have been scouring the internet for your stand-up.
Doing Oppo.
Which doesn't exist.
Now here's the deal. I did stand-up comedy in the early 90s. I think probably the last performance I ever did as a stand-up was, well, maybe I did one at the DNC in 2004. I was never a particularly good stand-up. I ended up going in, I did 10 pilots, network pilots. I wrote a bunch of, probably about a dozen pilots for ABC, NBC, CBS, HBO. I executive produced a couple of shows that made it to air, some that just got into production. I was an actor, and I perceived myself as a comedian, not necessarily a stand-up comic. And Air America pushed me as a comedian. At the time, I had just directed I'm with Busey, and then had done a show called Pilot Season that was a extension of a movie I made, Who's the Caboose. People can go check that out. It's available on some streaming platforms. I don't know, maybe iTunes. Not everybody's taste. But they could take that movie and mock it and say it's not funny. What they would find is that like all my friends are actually who are in the movie are far more successful comedians than Steven Crowder ever was.
That's what's funny is Crowder wanted to be like the right-wing comedy guy, and he's turned into a pundit because he's also not that funny and couldn't cut it at Fox News. But your comedy career, which is basically like your side hustle, is basically more developed than his ever was.
I mean,
100%. You're not saying Pigpen or whatever the hell he was calling you isn't like tearing down the house?
I don't know if he was calling me Pigpen or Ethan Pigpen. It was sort of hard to tell. But
either way, it's in fucking Scrutable.
They scoured the internet looking for a stand-up. And then he says, like, you don't do live shows. Like, first off, we've done a couple of live shows. I do have 2 children. It's not that easy to get together. We had one scheduled, obviously, during COVID. We didn't do any live shows, but we had a couple that we were going to do. I think we're planning to do one in Boston in the fall. Does Steven
do live events? I don't remember this.
But I don't even understand. Let's say I never did a live show, although I will tell you this. In the first 10 years of my career, I did multiple live shows a night. Cross Comedy, David Cross, was in a comedy group with him in Boston. I was in a comedy group with John Benjamin, and I had a comedy group called the Comedy Lab in Boston for years.
Not successful at all those two.
Then when we came down to New York, there's a show that ultimately became Eating It that at one point I programmed for the Toyota Comedy Festival. Louis C.K. and Sarah Silverman and Mark Maron and Bob Odenkirk and Michael Ian Black and Showalter and Benjamin and Michael Portnoy, the guy who did Soy Bomb, and Todd Barry. And I would do stand-up, or not really stand-up, like an alternative comedy through the 90s there. And, I don't, but even if I was still doing that or not doing that, I can't quite make out what the relevance is. He's saying that I'm afraid to do a live show somewhere, but continue.
You need to research this. Did Steven ever accept?
They said you were.
Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you. Hey, whoa, Sam.
And you literally.
Sam, sweetheart. Sam, fake stand-up comic who we can't find any footage about online. Let me finish.
I'm not a stand-up comic.
Oh, you're not? Okay, that makes sense because everything that I've seen is incredibly unfunny and unentertaining, which may explain the audience.
Irony alert, Steven.
Comedian.
Of my stuff, Steven, that you said that your audience
can I answer your question?
Appreciate our discussing things.
Samuel, can I answer your question?
Yes.
So you have gone on, you've done the same thing with other comics. Everyone has a bigger audience than you because you said, I want to speak with Steven Crowder. You believe that at some point there was some acceptance? When have I ever done a Politicon? Ever? As a matter of fact, in the last decade, I haven't done a single political conference. I hosted CPAC for 4 years and stopped because they suck.
They don't. Pause it for 1 second. Do we have that clip of him apparently going up at South by Southwest in 2017 to interrupt something that Cenk was doing? Let's just play that just for the sake of it. I mean,
while we're looking for that, the thing where he's like, I only hosted CPAC for 4 years and I stopped doing that because it was trash. Like, you did it for 4 years. Maybe you had something to do with that.
Right.
I would never go there again because the guy who hosted it sucked. But wait a second, that was me last year. And the year before.
It's like Ricky Gervais bashing
And the
Golden
year
Globes.
before. What it sounds like to me, now that I listen back to it, this whole thing, like you don't go out and do live shows. It sounds like to me that he's afraid of doing live shows. Like he's saying, like, I don't go to political conferences anymore because if I go to political conferences, there'll be people there who know about politics and they will approach me and I'm not going to do that.
Well,
I
it's
will
all
only go to
projection.
places. Yeah, totally.
But the whole thing is projection, right? Where he says at the beginning about Ethan, about this guy's afraid to debate me or whatever the case
That's
may
literally
be.
what he's trying to do. He's trying to make this about Ethan being afraid to debate, when the entire story is about him being afraid to debate.
For
on, like,
years,
forums.
you've been afraid to debate Sam, and he's panicking, and people on Twitter were zooming in on his knuckles. Like, I want you guys to pay attention to how
how
he's
gripped he is.
clenching his hands together.
Play this clip of Crowder at South by Southwest in 2017, I think it is.
Heckling Cenk.
Yeah, this
He's
is a
heckling
super important
Cenk.
That's bullshit. I'm the real Jake over here. This is what's happening. The Jake don't get married. Okay, this is Stephen. This guy, this is the real Jake. You think you're a man? It's not happening. It's bullshit. What are you doing? You come and start the panel.
Okay, so this is not a friend of
This
mine.
is what he is, okay?
This is what he does.
You're doing an impression. You know that's bullshit. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, right?
He basically
what he does,
makes
right?
money
If he makes money,
by
you what? Right? Like he's
writing my
you rock. Oh, you rock my dick. So I do this homophobic stuff too, right? And then I feel like you're a homophobe, but really, I get to do this.
Oh, wow.
That was embarrassing in like a
Nobody
multitude of
laughed.
ways.
So that was not
What was
part
he
of Change My
being?
Mind?
That was.
Where'd it
Okay,
go?
let's go back to the original here.
Was he trying to imitate Cenk? That's what he's doing.
Yeah, the
next?
funny part is he's like shifting his voice as Cenk is speaking because he's trying to get it, and he doesn't seem to have any of the affectations. He just had the costume. If
Yeah.
you're gonna take away the costume from that dude, he's gonna be lost.
Yeah, he needs to dress it up.
Decade, in the last decade, I haven't done a single political conference.
How
I
can
hosted
you say-
CPAC for 4 years and stopped because they suck.
How
They
can you
don't
say-
pay,
Okay.
and they're full of losers.
What about
and you've been
Gavin McInnes's
clamoring
show?
for it, and it's a
Gavin told
lie.
me that you dropped out of doing
How
his
can you
show
say
because
that
This
you-
is
I
just
was going
hearsay
to
and
go-
gossip.
But how can
I
he
have
say
I've never
that
met more of
follow
a
your
woman.
career when he wants
Well,
to
I
keep
don't even
debating?
think
I don't know.
I mean, look,
As a woman's, Steven, I'll debate you anytime, anywhere.
that's just gossip. I've never met more of a woman. Well, I mean, presumably he's married to a woman who's pregnant. But aside from that, if you thought that Steven could get out of this situation without dropping a dollop of misogyny down, I am afraid that it was not the case.
Well, then
Now-
I want to ask about the eyes comment.
And yeah, well, he's going to get to the eyes.
Yeah,
again.
we'll bring it
But-
back. at the
but-
end. Yeah.
I told him that Gavin McInnes wanted me to come on his show. He was offering $5,000 at the time. I was not going to go on a show where Gavin McInnes was the moderator until they said Crowder was going to come on, and then I was like, I'll do it for free.
Well, you said you debate Gavin McInnes, but like, if he's
Why are
the
you
moderator,
not moving?
That makes no sense.
It doesn't
Jesus.
make any sense. And then they
It's a
said,
right-wing.
all right, well, what about if we get Crowder to come on and Gavin would moderate that? And I was like, that I would do. I won't take money, but I will do it because I'm not doing this for the money. And then let me be clear of what the point of this is. And we do this specifically for political reasons. I don't care about Steven Crowder as a person. I don't care about YouTube, whatever. subscriber counts or whatnot. We started this show as a radio show. We do it as a YouTube. We have this microphone in front of our faces because at the end of the day, this is the way I like to do it. I came from radio. But you don't do YouTube. You're losing out on potential revenue. You're also losing out on a big chunk of possible audience. I am doing this so that if you are a fan of Steven Crowder's, or you know someone who is a fan of Steven Crowder's, you understand that he cannot stand behind his ideas. He is afraid to have his ideas challenged by someone who is equipped to do the least amount of challenging, which is why he'll debate Ethan, even though Ethan has only 2 million subscribers and Crowder has 5 or 6.
And Ethan admits that, this is not his forte.
Yeah, this is not what Ethan does.
Yeah.
And he will go and have a change my mind thing with college students.
Ah, shit.
He'll go up to,
Wait,
some guy who is doing street art and decide to debate him and then call the cops on him.
Oh my god, he can shoot
He'll do
straight
all
through
that.
that building? Are you
But
joking
he
me?
will not actually have a civil conversation with somebody who knows the slightest bit of what they're talking about because he's afraid. So it's one thing you can watch Steven Crowder if you're a 14-year-old boy and you really feel like you need that misogyny and homophobia stylings of a comedic, the comedic stylings that a 14-year-old boy in 1970, 82 may
Or
have
is
felt
the
they needed.
affect of a comedic styling without any of the actual comedy behind it.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're not one of those 14-year-olds, because a lot of those 14-year-olds may grow out of it, but if you're anybody else and you have any questions, at the very least, you owe it to yourself to listen to other people and other perspectives to find out just how full of shit Steven Crowder is. All right, continue.
It's a
told
lie.
me that you dropped out of doing
How
his
can you
show
say
because
that this is just hearsay and gossip?
How can he
I've never met more of a woman.
career when he wants to keep debating?
I don't know. It's bizarre. All right,
let's talk
okay.
about the issue.
So Ethan, do you want to have a conversation, Ethan?
Let's talk
About the vaccine, because
Ethan, do you want to have a
Absolutely, I
conversation?
do.
You're going to hide.
Absolutely, I do.
So why are you hiding behind San Cedar?
Oh no,
Have a
me and Sam are
conversation
aligned. I'm not
with
hiding.
him.
He just
Well, you're just a
he knows the
liar.
issue.
So you're a
Ethan,
liar.
because remember we said, hold on a second, hold on a second.
Debate.
I mean, it sort of
yeah.
feels like
It's
you guys are the ones
ridiculous.
who are hiding.
Really? No. This is actually
Who's snuck in on you?
who's the guy who never appears on stage, never does a live show,
But it's a
never
comment.
never even allows a shadow of comedy to be perceived on his program. It's just hiding. Everything we do is out in the open. H3.
Pause it,
H3. Even your
pause it. I just make it clear that the relationship between hiding from a debate and allowing a shadow of comedy appear on his show, there
No,
is
give me
no
the money.
relationship there. That does not exist. It is Steven flailing around looking for anything he can grab onto because he thinks that I'm also 14 years old. He thinks that I have the mentality that he does, which is like, look at your shoes,
It's
man.
not as big as mine.
Yeah, like, oh, your dad has a bad car. Or I've been to your house and it's ugly. Like, oh, yellow house. Oh, that's a yellow house, a girl. Like, he's flailing around and he doesn't know what to say. So he's like, you've never been on stage in Oklahoma.
You failed stand-up that we can't find.
Right,
No,
so you're not a stand-up. Well, that explains it.
It doesn't land a single blow this entire time.
No, and there's plenty of blows to be landed, folks, believe me. But,
Particularly if you have some awareness that it might be coming. Maybe just write some ahead. You have a
no
whole staff
kidding.
there.
Like, hey, guy, like, yeah, literally, he's got like 8 people on staff that are on camera.
But as we're saying, like, he was so terrified of this happening that he didn't allow it to enter into his brain in a more concrete way.
No.
Just he got to the fear
Fight or
point.
flight.
Yeah, right.
Fight or flight the entire time. All right, continue. Sorry.
Also, Epic Mealtime is coming.
This program is just hiding. Everything we do is out in the open. H3. H3.
Steven,
you know
you're wearing a
that we
holster.
agree. So what? Hold on a second, yeah? So,
Yeah?
I want to normalize responsible gun ownership. Is that your debate? No wonder you had to bring in a hack for you.
Well, no, you're talking about
Closet. That is the only moment where Crowder is confident in this entire situation, where it can be brought back to one of his macros. I've heard him say that 100 times. In fact, I was over the weekend looking for a sash that would hold a samurai sword so I could normalize wearing a samurai sword on podcasts.
Yes.
But he gets really indignant there because he's like, oh, wait a second.
Oh, yeah?
I am now in my comfort zone of justifying why I'm wearing a holster. And the idea that normalizes it. Well, here's the question. Why doesn't his staff wear holsters too? He's the only one on the show of 8 people who are on camera, or 5.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know that because we haven't been following his show as closely as he's been following ours.
We can see though. They've already done camera shots. None of his staff wear those same holsters that would normalize it. He's lying to you. He's wearing it because he thinks it makes him look cool.
Also, I come from gun owners, and it's not going to have the effect of normalizing that. It's going to make any gun owner cringe at the idea that this lame is wearing holsters performatively on a YouTube show.
Yes.
And getting absolutely clowned while doing it.
Exactly. Normalize morons is what that is. Go ahead.
Also, your sponsors
Advantage of mentally ill women for a show.
is about gay morons.
Okay. All right, Sam. You got it. You got it. I hope you have.
No!
Hey, Steven, hold on. Let me just make one point.
Hope you enjoy Politicon.
Hold on, let me make one point, Steven.
Take it easy.
Steven, don't bail.
Guys. I appreciate it.
Don't bail, you coward.
Hey, Sam, one thing before I go. Can you take off your glasses?
Hold on.
One thing before I go. Can you take off your glasses?
We just want to see.
I just want to see if you take them off. If you have the Velveteen Rabbit buttons. That's the only thing I'm curious about. It's the only interesting part about it.
Or if there's a soul. Let's
Just
debate.
take off the glasses.
Let's debate, Steven.
Don't hide behind the glasses.
Don't be a coward.
Don't say let's debate, Ethan. You've lost
Coward.
All right.
Debate
This
the
is
issues.
sad.
What
This
does
is
it matter
what
who
you
you debate, coward?
All right, good. You guys are good. Thank you.
Coward.
Won't even take off the glasses.
I was right.
All right, yeah, you can give it the X. This
You
is-
run away twice.
Yeah, so he leaves there, but let's talk about the Velveteen Rabbit eyes.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to watch the rest. I mean, people can see the rest of that clip.
Oh, come on, but when he leaves, your reaction is pretty good.
All right, maybe we'll go a little bit further, but let's do the Okay, I've just looked up Velveteen Rabbit buttons.
He's trying to say you have beady dark eyes, and
I'm looking at the
it's
Velveteen Rabbit buttons, and they don't look like that at all.
I don't. It does. Right, but the point is like, I mean, to have like dark beady eyes. That's probably some anti-Semitic thing.
No, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's some type of thing that he's trying to say, like maybe it's girly or something. Like I'm looking at Velveteen Rabbit buttons.
Like you look cuddly or something, but I don't understand. I honestly, I'm so perplexed.
It's some obviously inside joke that they have at the studio.
Right.
That is some type of coping mechanism for them.
Right. Well.
That Steven can deal with his fear of me, and he thinks of cuddly rabbits.
Damn.
While he's having heart palpitations that Sam may be showing up on my Zoom stream. But here,
this is about self-care. This is not about trying to get owned. And it's just them trying to do self-care as the lion wanders into the habitat.
Exactly.
I mean,
here we go.
I'm not even saying it is that. That's just like my only guess because the Velveteen Rabbit eyes, it's a story of a stuffed rabbit's desire to become real through the love of his owner.
Somebody else is saying you're a soulless, beady-eyed Jew, but in a way that can't get the algorithm flagged.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's that possibility.
I don't know if that's the case, but if that is the case, then I don't give a shit.
Yeah, disgrace yourself, pigs.
Exactly. But this, Steven, is for you. Now, I said I would do it if you would actually engage in a conversation. You won't do it. But if you're looking at this camera now, Steven, I want you to look into these eyes, because these are the eyes that humiliated you in front of millions of people. Incidentally, I'm not hiding behind the glasses.
No, take them off fully.
They're prescription.
Take them off slowly so we can cherish the moment.
And somebody better put frickin' rays that come out of my eyes in post on this. Somebody better do that.
Holy Shit.
Steven?
He is the Velveteen Rabbit.
I can't make a take.
Look into your future, Steven.
Wait, actually,
This is where it all starts to come apart for you.
No, not that.
All right, let's just play the end of this after we got off, because I got to tell you, folks, I honestly would have preferred to actually engage in the debate with him. And frankly, I got to be honest too about this. He did the dumbest thing he could have done.
Yep.
I mean, this is what I was so amazed at the end of this, and you'll see my reaction. He did the dumbest thing he could have done. The smartest thing he could have done would be to go kill the Zoom right away and just go like, what happened? What happened to our Zoom? We're having technical problems, guys. Sorry. As soon as he sees me, pretend like he didn't see me, kill the Zoom, and that's it. And then not bring it up, not respond to, you know, and just say like, I don't have time to debate you right now. I'm sorry. We got to fix our Zoom.
You idiot.
That would have been the
You
smartest
dumb
thing.
fuck.
The second smartest thing to do, for him to do, would have been to actually engage with me. All right, Sam. Ethan's too afraid to do this. Let's talk about what Ethan said with this, and let's talk about big tech. And I am quite convinced that he would have done fine. I would have felt like I won. His folks would have felt like they won. I like to think that I would have been able to convince a small amount of people.
It would have gave his video editor some more material to work with.
Exactly. But the dumbest thing that he could have done was to hang on there, get his producer to come in.
Fuck.
Just keep like, talking, like chattering, like
You know,
honestly,
if I
like,
maybe I
as
made
if,
it there
like
a
a
little
bunch
bit
of
earlier.
chimpanzees, like we're under attack, and look around, admit that he was monitoring the show because he was so afraid at the idea that this would happen, which he never prepared for. I mean, the guy is a chump. Talk about the Emperor having no clothes. This is the moment.
Having no holster.
No, exactly. This is like somebody taking out his gun and going, dude, this is plastic. This is not a real gun. It's fake. Now, he's going to go and say, "Yeah, this is my real gun." But that's not what we're talking about. Steven Crowder is a fake. And he exposed himself as one in this exchange.
We have the dessert, though. The hang up.
This is the
Are you fucking kidding me?
Ready to take off the glasses. All right, yeah, you can buy. Yes, this
You
is.
run away twice. Cold feet again.
Come on, Steven.
Wow.
Kill me.
Wow. Dude, I can't believe he admit to following.
He admitted that he followed the show last week.
We got him.
Admitted that he watched the show last week.
We got him. Dude, we played him so
Take
hard
that.
because he literally was following. He saw that you went live, dude. We fucking got him.
Oh my God, we fucking nailed him.
Holy shit.
All right, go watch Ethan's show for the rest of that. We talked for another, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes after that. We were both like,
I've never seen you so happy in my entire life.
I mean, it was the dumbest way that he could have done it.
It was amazing.
Unbelievable. All right, let's go to the IM.
Well, for tomorrow,
What's up with that guy's reload speed? Jesus. Oh my god.
How you lied about him and that whole exchange about the not wanting to
He's on there talking about this, yeah.
I'll go on Tim. I'll go to wherever he's living now. Where's he living in DC? I'll go now.
Yeah.
I'm back.
That guy's
I will
tanker's
go.
fucking disgusting.
I will go.
They're shooting like a machine gun.
Without a hint.
Hey, shut the fuck up. Okay, now this is the real. Steven side. Where's the picture? Le pain en pain. Le picture on picture. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Where is it? Where? Hey, show yourself. I didn't know. I know Crowder had cold feet. I didn't know the video player had cold feet. What? What's happening? Oh, I found it. Shut up.
If you're young, 4% of minorities. Put identification. Well, yeah, should you?
No, obviously, of course. Come on, please.
We're not monsters.
And there's just one guy who's beaten to death because he suggested Medea.
You ain't black.
But like we all can agree, it was
Necessary.
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, I mean, which?
I don't think it matters.
There's so many. I'm sure they're all different in many ways.
So let me ask this. I have a few questions for you today, and the best thing you can do is just comment below and smash that like button if you're watching this live. Hit the like button and comment. There are only a few sort of topics of discussion where I haven't even heard a valid argument from the other side. Now, I understand, for example, I don't agree with it, but I understand the arguments when you talk about abortion and people haven't really done their due diligence, so they don't know. They just say they don't think that life begins at fertilization, but they don't really know when life begins.
Right.
I understand that as it comes to taxes, you have people who say, well, you know what, people need to pay their fair share. I don't agree with it. And statistically, I don't agree with, obviously, the outcome because we sort of know, we've talked about Hauser's Law, we've talked about the Laffer curve, but I understand people's argument. There are two that I've never heard something even close to a valid argument against. One of which I've talked about is school choice.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, a voucher, which is attached to the student. That means that instead of spending $12,000 per pupil at a school where they have to go with no choice, you attach it to the student and they can take it wherever they want.
Yeah, the problem,
never heard an argument against it that's...
Easy clap W argument, okay? Not every student has the opportunity to go to every school. The voucher, and you'll say, oh, well, a voucher gives them that opportunity to go to whatever school they want. No, physically, they cannot move themselves to the school. They, unless, of course, you're telling kids to start biking at like 6 in the morning to go across the entire fucking town, right? There are physical limitations to where you can go if you are a poor student. Your parents can't drive you to school, okay? Vouchers might work for privileged students, and also school choice does exist in Canada, but at the same time in Canada, all the schools are funded the same way. They all have equal funding. So essentially, all schools are the same, besides some minor differences of basically just teachers. That's like the only difference between them. So you can go to whatever school you want, they're all going to be the same, besides teacher differences, which if you want to make that decision, fine. But again, even with that choice, the buses don't come get you. If I chose to go to a different school, other than the one that was districted towards me, I would have to get myself to the school, which would be, well, like an hour-long bike ride, probably, at minimum. So unless, of course, you're telling kids to hop on their bike for an extra hour out of the day, wasting 2 extra hours of their day, alongside of having to bike around town while you're, a minor, which isn't exactly, I mean, it's, again, in a privileged city, isn't that bad. But in cities where, like, it's poverty-ricken, I don't think that that's exactly the safest thing to be doing. But, okay. Like, I don't know how he has never heard that argument ever. That's the easiest, smallest little... Unless, of course, he's thinking of something that isn't, that isn't the voucher program he's talking. I don't know what the fuck. But, yeah. Also, again, with the voucher program, all it really does is it just sucks all the funding away from the shit schools and puts them all towards the bigger schools. So what ends up happening is that if they put the voucher in program right now, what could happen is that all of the good schools get overpopulated and all the bad schools just close down because no one goes to them anymore. Because why the fuck would you send your kid to the bad school? Now, again, this is ignoring the logistical problem of fucking having kids having to walk or bike across an entire city to get to school. But now, Stephen might argue, again, you might argue, oh, well, we'll just increase, like, we'll just make it so that the buses can get there. I mean, yeah, I guess that makes it that makes it kind of a logistical nightmare for buses, because typically how the bus system might work is that you have all your students set up already. You know what district you're going to get students in, and then all the kids are registered and are guaranteed to be going to the school by the summer. Okay, that can still happen during a voucher program, and then the busing route is plotted out based on that. And it typically at max, the max I've seen was like an hour to get to school on the bus. So if you have to do a voucher program, that means your district is now. This was like an hour-long bus ride in a specific district that they mapped out themselves. So the school was willing to do like a max bus ride of an hour. So now your district is the entire goddamn city, because any student could pick where they go. So unless, of course, you're telling a bus to basically drive around for 2 fucking hours, maybe even more than that, picking up students from all across the city, it's just a logistical nightmare. But I mean, hey, no response though. Probably because he actually hasn't talked to fucking anyone in ages.
Anything even close to remotely convincing, I've only heard people say, well, that would be racist. The other one is, and you can comment below,
there's a
because I want to know what I'm missing here. I've never heard anything close to something resembling a valid argument as to why you shouldn't need to present identification to vote other than it's racist.
Okay, so another easy squad W on this one. Well, it doesn't really matter. This one's kind of stupid. Now, basically, should you need to show ID to vote? Probably not. But you know what's an easy fix to that? Just expand ID access. So hey, Crowder, all you want is ID? Hey, why not just pay for government issued IDs? Everyone who has a address. Now, this is the problem, is because the nitty-gritty of it is that a lot of citizens don't have addresses. A lot of people don't have access to go and get an ID. Sometimes they cost money. So hey, Steven, you want everyone to have an ID to go to go vote? Would you support government-funded IDs that you'll either A, get mailed to your address every year or every 5 years or whatever, or you get mailed to your address every 5 years. Let's say you get it mailed to your address starting at the age of like 16 or 18 or whatever. Also, plus, would you support government buildings that are used for issuing these same IDs, so that people who do not have a home address, who are homeless, can walk in and get their ID done, and they don't have to pay for it? Would you support that? Odds are he would not support that. So what the problem is that with ID is that what Crowder wants secretly, what the Republican Party wants, is they want to narrow the field of who can vote. So hey, okay, poor people don't like us, so if we can eliminate as many poor people as we can, then we will. That's what happened in fucking Texas, Georgia, Texas, Georgia, one of the states. I don't really remember. Where they targeted minority and black minority and poor people's like IDs and said, do not accept these IDs. Like literally. So again, easy answer is, hey, if you want IDs, I'll agree with you, Steven. Hey, if you want IDs, because Canada has IDs and stuff like that, but the thing is that here's the big difference between Canada having IDs and you having IDs. They're easily accessible. If I didn't have a car and I didn't have a license, I would go to my Ontario service something, whatever, and I would just get an ID. Now, it might cost money, and I don't really like that, and I think it should probably be free. But hey, at a very minimum, have a very low-cost ID, or make it free for X people to get them, right? You have it means tested, so that if you make below this amount of money, you get free ID. But regardless, it'll all have to be government funded. So, how much, and let's just check, does it cost to get an ID in Canada? Well, let's do Ontario. The Ontario photo card will cost $35 and be valid for 5 years. Contact Service Ontario. So I could just walk to Service Ontario, pay $35 and get an ID. That's the difference. Now, maybe that happens somewhere in the States, but it doesn't happen all over around the States. Also, $35, somewhat expensive for a piece of a photo of yourself. So would I like that to be like more free? And now maybe Canada has some you know, freer services, basically. But yeah, it's just Oh my god, dude, apparently if I apply for a photo card, my license will be canceled. What? Yeah, so here's a big difference too. It's like, okay, here's a problem. Bring acceptable, this is for Canada, Ontario. Bring acceptable identification documents that prove your legal name, date of birth, and signature. Oh shit. I don't know that, like, I don't know how many homeless people just have their date of birth and legal name and everything around. Oh, if you do not have ID that shows your signature, you can use a declaration from a guarantor. Oh, okay. So you just know somebody. Oh, easy. Okay. So the biggest problem is the $35. But maybe there are other systems out there that help you with that. I'm not 100% sure. But again, hey, Steven, if you want everyone to have IDs to be able to vote, that's fine. That's not really the argument. The problem is accessibility.
Is there an argument out there?
License for some reason.
Or was it Russians interfere?
Hey, I'm glad you changed your...
In dream, right?
Yes.
I think we've had it on our soundboard that you should do exactly what the CDC tells you, this government agency. You don't even have to think about it.
You don't have to think about it, dude.
Right. And so, again, the point there was criticizing the YouTube creator, okay? And he
Finally
made
got
the
to it,
comment,
by the way.
I think...
This is 17 minutes into his fucking goddamn stream. So this is what Crowder does all the time as well. I don't know if it's a tactic on purpose or if he just thinks this is like good way to deal with stuff, but the title of this is The Greatest Self-Own. H3H, he wrecks himself, brags about it, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's the title of the video. And I'm pretty sure he's only going to be talking about this for what looks to be... Oh, no, he plays the entire thing. Okay, so the entire thing is played inside of this. And then it cuts back to reality, basically. And then there's like a whole... So out of this hour and 18-minute stuff, it looks like maybe 30, 40 minutes is the actual, like, stuff. So he, like, sandwiches it between, like, you know, his normal content, probably to discourage any random people from...
I think we've had it on our soundboard.
It, because, like, that makes sense. If I wanted to hide some, this is what he does all the time. He'll have, like, his title will be this thing, and in between all that is a bunch of garbage that I don't care about, and it's so impossible.
That you should do exactly what the CDC tells you, this government agency. You don't even have to think about it.
You don't have to think about it, dude.
Right.
So before he says anything, I'll characterize the point that Ethan made. The point that Ethan made is that if you do not have a brain, and if you don't know anything, there are a body of people that'll tell you what to do, basically. That's their job, is to guide you to make decisions that you know nothing about. That is their whole purpose. So what Ethan's saying is, if you don't have a doctorate and you don't know anything about shit fuck about viruses, and you know you're not a doctor, you can listen to these people, okay? It's okay. It's cool. Their whole job is to be there for you. It's the same thing. Let's see if I can find an example of... Oh, well, it's the same thing as you listening to Trump. Now, Stephen Crowder will hide it as, oh, I'm just agreeing with him. Okay, dude. That's what Ethan's doing, I guess. But there's a bit of a difference. And then... God, can I even think of, like, anything? These people are so... There's, like, niche venues, maybe, or something like that. Like, let's see... It's hard because it's like, because basically the gag is, and they keep it up quite well, is that you don't listen to anyone. You come up with your own ideas, right? You just come up with your own. You use your own intuition and your own brain to come up with your ideas, which Crowder isn't really doing, but he hides it, and Ethan isn't really, or is doing that, but in a very simplistic way. So Crowder's just going the long way around what Ethan's doing. So Ethan just goes, fuck, I don't know anything about viruses. I don't know shit about shit. good thing we have this board of fucking doctors and stuff, and they say do this, so I'll do that. Oh, sorry, they changed their mind. I'm gonna do this. Oh, this. So, but instead, what Crowder does is he goes, CDC says this. Okay, cool. Whatever, you know, government body. I don't really want to listen to them. I'm gonna go get my own information. He goes, gets his own information. Odds are it disagrees with the CDC for some reason. Maybe because Biden's in office. I don't know. You know, for some strange reason, he disagrees with the CDC. He doesn't wear a mask. Okay. Or, sorry, he does wear a mask to disagree with the CDC, or he does. I don't know what he did originally. I have no idea. Maybe he did nothing. He does nothing. He waits. Then it turns out that the CDC actually does want you to wear masks. But so then Crowder hears this, and he jumps back to the original position. But you didn't want us to wear masks in the first place, so I won't listen to you this time either. It's like, well, you didn't listen to us the first time, and now you're not listening to us again because you think that we're like lying or something. When we just didn't have enough information before. Now we have the information. And it turns out that, I mean, I guess we were wrong. We just didn't have enough information. So we said a statement based on our information. And now we have more information, and we're making another statement based on our information. That's how science works. Okay, so how can I describe this for layman's, I guess. Oof. Okay, let me see if I can bring in, I guess, what I do for school. So if you oh, okay, perfect. You know, so I run a simulation for a beam. I will use this ruler here. Okay, so I run a simulation for a beam, and I put a lot of stress, like a bridge, and I put a lot of weight on the inside, and it doesn't break. Right? Okay, so the bridge doesn't break. So I go, hey, it's safe to install this bridge wherever you want. I ran the simulations. The bridge is good. Okay, the bridge will withstand the force you put on it. Awesome. They go and install the bridge, and a truck drives over it near the max weight, and the bridge fucking breaks. Maybe not a catastrophic failure, but the bridge breaks. I then come out and go, oh fuck. Okay, the bridge broke. It needs a little bit of reinforcement here and here. Okay, we need to redesign the bridge. I don't get called a fucking liar for designing a bridge that broke, as long as I didn't do anything incorrectly. Of course, if I fucking fucked up this simulation, I would get fired. But let's assume that I did everything perfectly in the simulation, and then the simulation shows that the bridge would be fine, but the bridge wasn't actually fine under the same circumstances. That is totally fucking normal, because simulations are not the real fucking world. The real fucking world is very complicated, and simulations never, ever, 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 nearly never line up with reality. There's always a small, little, tiny little difference. And that small, little, tiny little difference can be the difference between catastrophe and not. So you have to over-fucking-engineer shit all the time. So this happens a million times, okay? You design a bridge, okay? There's a ribbon bridge in the middle of fucking nowhere or something like that. So there's a truss bridge that in the 80s or something was built. Sorry, not a truss bridge. Wherever the Golden Gate Bridge is. Anyways, the cable bridges, whatever. I forget what those called. Jesus Christ. But they try to design a new one. So now, if you look at the Golden Gate Bridge, you'll see that underneath. So I don't know if the Golden Gate Bridge is double-deckered, but regardless, there's the top paved road of the Golden Gate Bridge, and then below that, either there might be a walking path there, or it's double-deckered. I think the ones in New York are double-deckered, but regardless, there's the top part, and then space underneath all the time. And that space are taken up by V's of struts that'll go across, and they'll do a zigzag pattern or a bunch of triangles, whichever one you want to describe it, and they'll go all the way down the bridge. Those are there. Suspension bridge, that's what they're fucking called. So a suspension bridge. Those are there to add extra reinforcement to carry the weight of the bridge, is what was hypothesized at the time. But the bridge was being held by... that was meant there to add extra weight to the bridge, but also, you know, to stop... lateral like forces acting on the bridge. The suspension part stops the bridge from falling, and then those extra beams stop the lateral movements, allow air to pass through it, all that stuff. A new bridge was developed. I forget what the bridge is called, but I think it was supposed to be built between like Washington and an estate below it or whatever, or somewhere in Washington State. And the guy designing the bridge hypothesized that the bridge was so heavy already, or bridges in general, were so heavy already that the weight itself would stop there was not enough momentum in the world to move the bridge in the lateral forces that the trusses on a bridge would try to stop. So they build the suspension bridge and they just basically make it solid all the way through. So instead of it being trusses that go across, it's just one solid beam. And if you know anything about fucking, I guess, like mechanical engineering for stuff like that, there is a difference between beam forces and truss forces. A truss, like, you know, is built to withstand forces in many directions, and a beam is a beam. Like, this is a beam. Like, a beam is good at stopping forces in this direction, but not good at stopping forces in this direction, like the other direction. Your I-beams and stuff like that, if you have an I-beam is really good at stopping forces this way. This is the I. Imagine this is your I-beam, correct? An I-beam is really good at stopping force in this direction, but really bad at stopping force in this direction. Now, you can make a square beam, and then it will withstand forces in both directions, but it might not withstand forces in tension or compression. Anyways, but a truss, when you build a truss, right, all those forces act together so that something is in compression, but is also being bent. Anyways, like, all the forces come together. But this guy basically had one big beam as his entire bridge. And what happened was that the bridge opened, and there's clips of this, the bridge opened, and a gust of wind came by, and the fucking bridge went absolutely fucking insane and collapsed. The designer probably got fired anyways. But, because that was a catastrophic failure, but it wasn't, you can't 100% blame him, because the phenomenon that happened was unknown to the world at that time. So, I mean, he might have got fired, I don't know, but it wasn't exactly his fault, because the phenomenon that took place was discovered that day, because it was a new phenomenon. That's what's happened with COVID, okay? COVID comes out, they're not really sure what's going on. They say, we want to keep masks for the frontline workers, so, you know, you don't really need to wear one, we don't think. It seems like it's water droplet mostly, so just wash your hands, wash your face, don't touch your face, and you should be okay. We're going to keep the masks for the... Now, this isn't exactly what they said. They obviously said it much shorter than that, and the message kind of got across wrong. But basically the point was, keep the masks for the frontline workers. Don't buy them if you're a normal person, because you don't need them, even though they just didn't want you to buy all the supply. And just wash your face and stuff like that. Then, it turns out that that's not true at all, okay? It turns out masks are very, very effective. It just changed. Nobody lied. There's no malfeasance, nothing like that. Just the scope changed, okay? Very simple.
And so, again, the point there was criticizing the idea. I think that's really bad.
Yes.
That's really
Yeah,
bad
you
to
could say.
tell
Bad
an
policy.
audience of young, impressionable youth that they shouldn't do their own due diligence.
Right.
That they shouldn't actually try and aggregate information and come to an informed, rational decision.
Well, of course, you can, as long as you can back up what you're saying.
Right, yes,
Yeah.
as long as you can back up what you're
Yeah.
due
So-
diligence.
Right.
That they shouldn't act on due diligence.
Right.
Tell
Bad
an
policy.
audience of young, impressionable youth that they shouldn't do their own due diligence.
Right.
Okay, so here's the problem, okay? So Crowder's point is that... Hold on, let me just put my headphones on real quick. Crowder's point is that they're not... That Ethan is impressioning onto his audience that they shouldn't do their due diligence, shouldn't do their own research. The problem is that you are doing your own research. What is research? It's looking at experts and taking their findings and using them as your own, basically. That's what the CDC is. It's a bunch of doctors who show findings as a body of people, and then give out an update. That's literally, you are doing the research. Looking at the CDC counts as doing your own research. Okay? Just because it's not a body of people you agree with for some strange reason doesn't mean that it's not, factually correct. It's the same thing with news outlets. If I were to look up a topic, okay, let's bring this over here. Do masks work? Okay. You can look at all of these articles here. Mayo Clinic, CDC. So like if you open up the CDC, okay, let's see. You know, they have all this shit. So this, like, if you open this up and read this, this counts as research. If you want to do more, you can. They might have sources at the very bottom. Or, yeah. And here's all their references right here. So if you want to do more of your own research, dig into all of these references. Now, I will bring something up for you, okay? Here are all of these references in a single article about, from the CDC, do masks work? Let's go check how many references Steven Crowder has. Oh. Well, that's awkward. Just move that back over here. So, yeah, I think that kind of proves, but it kind of shows the point there.
That they shouldn't actually try and aggregate information and come to an informed, rational decision.
Well, of course, you can, as long as you can back up what you're saying.
Okay, another reason. So they don't really, again, you can do that if you want. There's references there and everything like that. But again, the CDC are the people who are already aggregating the information. That's why there was an article there and then a bunch of sources. They are aggregating the information already. You don't need to aggregate the aggregate, okay? What's going to happen, what basically Crowder's telling you to do, is go find all the articles that already have references, then put them all together, and then aggregate the aggregates. You don't need to. It's okay. You're still doing research.
Saying.
Right, yes, as long as you can back up what you're saying. Yeah. So there were some videos kind of going back and forth, and you guys know I really don't like doing the YouTube drama, the pissing contest.
Yeah, we know.
But, and from what I understand, he released a portion of this clip.
Oh, wait. That's not true at all. He does the pissing contest shit all the time, okay? Carlos Maza, anybody, he just makes fun of everybody all the time. He says he doesn't like the pissing contest only because he doesn't respond back. He'll make fun of somebody and then never respond to them. That's the only reason why he says that.
Clip yesterday, but not everything.
Oh.
Of course.
Interestingly, Ethan Klein then, and afterward, when I said on air that I would love to have a conversation with him, reached out to me to debate.
Okay.
He reached out to me directly on Twitter. But first, let me kind of set some context here, too. Because there are some ill-conceived notions. You know, change my mind is very different from a debate. Okay, we've done many change my minds, but I've also done a lot of debates, not even including what I had to do on Fox News and CNN and HLN when I worked there for years. I changed my mind, the whole goal to a change my.
So why not haven't you done any recently? Oh, he's got cold feet. Okay. I like how he says that. It's like, hey, remember back like 4 or 5 years ago? Yeah, I used to do debates then. Yeah, we're talking about now.
Mind, for example, is an anti-debate, where people aren't just trying to score points, where people aren't in a quadrant view where they each have 3 minutes.
It's almost like you say this every single change my mind.
See, okay, here's the problem. So Crowder, to dodge the idea of a debate, has invoked the
Come in.
I don't know why I use the word. Invokes a weird word to use there, but it's pretty much true. But he's using the terms. He's using the definition of debate that like the debate club uses. Okay. He's using the terms that like the debate club would do. What the hell's happening here? Sorry, hold on. Thanks. The Warlock card Stealer of Souls has been disabled in Wild. When this card rotates out of Standard, it will be we'll see a balance adjustment and return to Wild play. Stealer of Souls. Do I have that card? Anyways, Steven is using the like debate club definition of what a debate is, which now I know Steven doesn't really pay attention to a lot of people online except for Sam Seder, but that's not how the online world categorizes or defines a debate. This isn't a debate club. You're not given an opening. You're not given an opening statement. You know, you're not both giving an opening statement that isn't an argument, and then you aren't given like rebuttals, and then you don't talk for 3 minutes. It's not how it works. A debate in the online forum is two people discussing or having a conversation about a topic. East of Soul? I don't think so. So yeah, like Stealer of Souls. There we go. Oh, interesting. Anyways, yeah. So, the broad internet would categorize what you do on Change My Mind as a debate. Yeah, if you go to the local high school and you ask the debate team what a debate is, they will tell you the rules you are putting out there. But nobody else gives a single fuck about that shit. Nobody does a typical debate where you're literally trying to score points. It's not a game. A debate to anybody else on the planet is two people having a discussion. Okay? And that's what you label. That's literally what you label Change My Mind. Okay? Like, you literally say, oh, just have a discussion and maybe you can change my mind. That is what the online world categorizes as a debate. Okay? Or really, I don't even need to say the online world. The entire fucking world would categorize that as a debate. The only people who wouldn't categorize that as a debate is the debate club at your local high school. Okay?
The whole thing is, yeah, the point of the Change My Mind was I used to sit down, we'd have these great conversations.
Right.
At the gym, or I'd have them, at a restaurant, or we'd have them in the studio. And I thought, why can't this go on air?
Yeah.
And so that's what Change My Mind became. And that being said, at Change My Minds, we've also had professors sit down, which very admirable because most of them refuse to. It's basically Change My Mind is the ones that we do on campus because about 50% of them are actually not on campus. It's just anywhere in a city where we can get a permit. It's supposed to be done in classrooms.
Right.
That's the point.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Hey, and you know what the classrooms will call that? Debate. I want you to know that, okay? If you step into a classroom, the point of a classroom is to, like, debate the topic at hand. That's what, now, some teachers will categorize that as a discussion about the topic as well. But also some will describe it as a debate. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot here, but it's okay. I'm pretty sure Steven has used the title, like, I thought universities were supposed to be, a place where you debate the ideas. So, like, anyways.
In place. So, because we've talked about it, radical one-sidedness at college. Okay. Now, on the flip side of that, I've done many debates, right, throughout my career. I think we have some thumbnails here so you guys can kind of see. You have mayors, you have actors, you have comedians, you have columnists for the New York Times.
Okay, let's look at these. Okay, let's make this a little bit bigger just in case. Who has he debated?
Ready to get started?
Random fuck, okay? Does this person have more than... Wait, why is he showing this? Wait a second. Wait, no. He did not categorize this as an actual debate, did he? Hold on. No.
Times you have some debates, right? College. Okay. Now, on the flip side of that, I've done many debates, right, throughout my career. I think we have some thumbnails here so you guys can...
Oh, no, he is categorizing this as a debate. Why would he shoot himself in the foot like this? Okay. Julie Ray Goldstein. Julie Ray Goldstein.
The battle is really raging out there.
So she was in Henry Danger, Time Traveling Bong, and Tim and Eric's Bedtime Stories. Okay? I don't know about you, but I've never heard of Julie Ray Goldstein. Sorry, Julie Ray Goldstein, but I haven't heard of you. Token OP.
I think you can win this thing.
Didn't freeze. Does Julie Ray Goldstein have more than 1 million subscribers on YouTube? I don't think so. Next! I'm not even... Christopher Titus. Comedian. Never heard of him. Probably less popular than Sam. Jess Herbst. Sorry about your last name. Mayor of New Hope, Texas. Interesting. Okay, we'll leave that one. That one's, you know, it's in your city. That one's more understandable.
I'll clean you up. Watch out! I'm baking here.
Michael Ian Black, comedian. I might have heard of him. Mark Duplass, actor and filmmaker. I don't know if he has more than 1 million subs. Naomi Wolf. I think she did. No. Who do I think it is?
Your minions really pulled their weight.
Yeah, she's literally a random person. Naomi Wolf is I can't pronounce her middle name. Is an American feminist, author, journalist, and conspiracy theorist. Okay, this person was over Sam Seder? You wouldn't... No Sam Seder, but this person. Is that what you're saying? Interesting. Go straight to Tavern 3. I don't really want a gold right now. These minions are okay, I think. Okay, next. Maria Del Russo. Again, never heard of her. Sally Cohn. Liberal commentator. Josh Constantine. Zach Ford. Think Progress. TechCrunch. Like, what is that? DL Hewley. Maybe Sky News. Trump ban. Sky News gun control. Harrison Green about Lacey Green. So, like, now Lacey Green hasn't been on the internet in a while, but if I go to Lacey Green's channel, I forget. Maybe she has a good amount of subscribers. Let's see. Let's see here. I feel like she was rarely popular. Oh, 1.3 million subscribers. Oh, cool. Awesome. How many does Sam Seder have? Oh, 1 million and 1,100,000. So, on aggregate here, Sam doesn't actually give a shit about popularity. Why did he make such a big deal about it? As you might see in a little bit if he plays the whole thing again. I probably won't play it again because it's a little boring, but that's interesting and telling, to say the least. Another one.
It's good to get some minions in play.
Another one. Oh my god. We will freeze that. Fuck it. Because what I'll do is I will play the alley cat, triple the alley cat, and I can get 4 5 cost minions. Sorry, 2 5 cost, 4. I don't know. Yeah, I'm talking shit. That was unlucky. This guy's got a golden bulb already. It's actually kind of annoying. Okay. He's already really strong. There's no way I'm winning. But again, Steven Crowder.
Kind of see. You have mayors, you have actors, you have comedians, you have columnists from the New York Times, you have scientists, you have feminists, you have CNN hosts. Lacey Green is in there, and then of course I've also even done these debates, ironically, devil's advocate, where I've argued from the point of the left against people like Ben Shapiro, against people like Jordan Peterson, Tim Pool, John Stossel. That was fun. He's a little prickly.
Yeah, he's a little prickly.
I see what you're trying to do here with your little character. Give me a break.
Just answer the question, Jim.
So I just wanted to set this so you understand kind of where we've been with this show for a while. And when Ethan Klein reached out to me to have a debate on Twitter, I think we have the screenshots here, right? Yeah, we have the screenshots where he reached out to me and said that he wanted to do a debate, just him and I. Yeah. I said, okay. He said, what will it be? I agreed to the terms of the debate. I said, look, we'll talk about the COVID issue because CDC, that was the initial topic of discussion. We can talk about big tech because now he supports big tech censorship. Then there were some emails. I don't know if you had the emails there. There were some emails that, again, went back and forth where they said, hey, what do you want to do? We'll get on a call. It'll just be you and I. Just you and I, no tricks.
I like the highlight. I would ask that you stick to the details that Ethan agreed to in the DM Twitter DMs doing. We never play gotcha with these things and would expect the same. Wait, what? Monday the 6th. No, Monday the 4th. So that was a couple weeks ago too. So they do admit that this didn't happen. Yeah. But he doesn't say just you and I, by the way.
Very clear about that, right?
Right.
Because every time the reason I mention these other debates is every time we've had a debate with someone, been very straightforward. I disagree with you. This is the topic we're going to cover.
Right. And one of the reasons you say it's just going to be you and I, it's like I'm not going to be sitting over here on my computer trying to pull up something to kind of do a gotcha moment.
Yeah.
Right.
And you've always told me that. Like, hey, if we're ever
Right.
debating somebody, you can always come in, let me introduce you and let them know. You're never going to surprise somebody.
No
Right.
blind sides.
Yes, and you've debated real comedians that are great, like Christopher Titus.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Well, and to be clear, I would debate Noam Chomsky tomorrow. All he has to say is yes. But he doesn't owe it to me. My kind of general rule is, look, it has to be someone who's an expert in something, someone who's really worthy, or it has to be a comparable audience. Otherwise, you end up debating every Tom, Dick, and Harry. So this was supposed to happen with Ethan Klein. And what I'm about to show you is the unedited master clip of me coming in for a sound check beforehand and the conversation that I had with Ethan. And look, I want you to understand something, too. What you're about to see sort of behind the scenes is very genuine, right? I really
Sam
did
went over
wish
this already. I
him
think
the
you've seen
best
it
with
in,
his
like,
with
part
his
one.
new baby,
Yeah,
pregnancy, and his family and his wife.
Yeah,
and I really did plan to come on and have this conversation in good faith with Ethan. It really wasn't
So
an act.
what's
and
interesting about him showing this is that this is like before the actual real debate. Previously, the week before, as you see in the email, they had planned to do it the week before. They canceled because of a family emergency moments after Sam ended his show and moments before having the debate. So, you know, the question is begged. Who? You know, like who is the who you joking here, you know? Why? Oh, I can get. Let's get this guy. And this guy. Okay. Yeah, the question becomes like, is he saying this because, you know, he has great, you know, insight and, you know, this is like, wow, like cool, or is it because he has an inkling that this might happen because he canceled last week, okay? Because he canceled last week, most likely because Sam, you know, turned off his show early, right? So Sam turns off his show early. Now Steven's here. Oh, that's actually good, I think. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate on this game. I really apologize. Do I have a dragon? I do. I might grab this guy. If I sell this guy and get this guy and get him gold fast enough. Well, red hair.
You're doing great.
Okay, so sorry. You know, Steven has already canceled once, probably because he fears that Sam will show up on the show and blindside him. So now he's saying that as damage control, so that when it does happen, he has, like, you know, like he can do right here. He has some way to back, to, like, you know, he has a corner to back into. The problem is that it doesn't really land because why would you just let this happen at all? Like, you just got embarrassed live on air, acting as if you didn't know Sam would show up when you are now currently showing that you basically did know Sam would show up. So you planned for this to happen and then completely fell flat on your face when it actually did happen. And it's like, well, why did you let it even happen in the first place? What are you doing? Why would you let something happen that you felt like that you didn't want to happen? I don't know. It's really extraordinarily strange. After Blood Gem is played on another Cold Boar, gain 1/1. Okay, so we'll do that because that guy will gain many Blood Gems. And then I just need a Blood Gem generator, which is appearing to be a little bit tougher than I thought it would be. But we will prevail nonetheless. So what I'll play is I'll play Menagerie. Then I'm going to play the cat and recycle the cat just so I can maybe get Blood Gems. I did not, but I will buff my Murloc. Okay, and then I will do this. And this, and buy this, and play this.
Good to get some minions in play.
And cycle. Ooh, that's really good. I'm gonna freeze this because I want this anyways, and we might get this guy. We might.
Keep up the momentum,
This dynamic duo guy will buff himself pretty quickly, but that guy's really OP with his Divine Shield and stuff. was clean. Damn, still lost them. Oof, I'm almost dead. I gotta start scaling. Yeah. So it's interesting that it basically. Oh.
You're down a minion and up a goal.
Oh. Yes, please. Pretty good. We'll deal with that. Anyways, yeah, so
we'll see how it is with any other debate, and that's what I had hoped would happen here. But I never actually thought it would happen.
Yeah.
And I know you're saying, well, it's easy to go back in Monday morning, quarterback that, you know.
Right. So he, you know, Crowder's going to do a lot of effort here to say that he knew that Ethan would do something like this, but it's like it doesn't. He's not aware that like it would be Sam Seder. It's like, okay.
You're doing great out there.
Maybe you did get blindsided that way. Maybe you didn't. Like, I don't know.
Afterward, but all along I kind of expected Ethan to be sort of
Ethan.
I wanted him to be a good guy. You try and speak people and elevate them to who you want to be, but at a certain point, you know, cowardice is cowardice. And my greatest problem, honestly, here when you're about to watch this is if Sam Seder pops up, who's sort of ancillary. But really, the issue is Ethan's wife, because it's your job to try and beat the cowardice out of your husband, because you're gonna have a little boy, right? That's the thing. When you have a son, you have to make sure that they understand what integrity is. And for me, a man makes an agreement, and a man is good to his word.
Yeah.
This really comes down to an agreement, good to your word. And I know you always have two sides, and a claim their side wins, but really there's only one side that's based on a lie. And I wish it didn't happen, because I really wanted to talk to him about his relationship with Susan Wojcicki and the flip and the support of big tech. Because also keep in mind, too, I had to navigate some murky waters here, because the goal was to remove me from medical misinformation and any conversations about COVID. Ethan has talked about that in the past. So now, without further delay, in its full context, a little bit of a...
Oh, another irony there, in full context, but not really, kind of, I think. I've been heard from others that kind of...
Surprise.
Some different
the
camera
debate
feeds.
With Ethan Klein.
But we've seen most of this. This is just the beginning. I'm just going to double speed this.
Because the mic hasn't been adjusted, guys. Hold on, let me adjust this, because I have to set it to human height since Dave was doing it. I can see some weird contact thing there.
You're doing great out there.
Okay. Right.
Well, he says human height as he raises his chair. Anyways.
All right, let me check this. Check 1, 2, 3. Good. All right. Okay, you guys gonna call him sound check him? Yeah. I bet this guy's gonna do anything he can to avoid actually. Yeah. I think he wants to do anything he possibly can to avoid. I don't know.
Wait, you want me to admit him into the room?
Sure. Well, yeah. Well, listen, you get the sound check. I don't want to sound check and stuff, but I don't guess I want to do this. Everyone needs to guys. He's probably not bring someone else on. As a producer, like a fan of that Seder character. Yeah, that'd be my bet. But hey, hopefully he mans up. Okay, you can do your sound check.
Okay, he does call out that he might bring on. Why? So he's totally okay. I forgot that he's totally aware that Seder will probably come on, and he just he just fumbles. He fumbles so hard.
Hey guys, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? You hear us well, or?
Oh yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Perfect.
And you?
Yeah, you guys sound good.
Okay, great. Who am I speaking with?
This is producer Tim.
Tim?
Yes.
Hi Tim, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Are you one of the guys that dresses up in the crowd, or are you not on screen?
I'm running the audio board.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So you're not the Peter Pan guy or anything like that.
Peter Pan? No. No. Hold on 1 second. We'll get Steven here momentarily.
Okay, thank you. Oh.
Dave leave food crumbs on this thing? It's like a crescent moon of filth.
Hi, Steven.
Hey, Ethan, how you doing, brother?
Hey, I just want to say on a serious note that I'm glad you're your wife is okay. I heard you had a little bit of a issue
thanks.
with your wife.
Well, she's pregnant with twins, so it's like well, by the way, congratulations to you. I know you guys are
Thank you.
in the same process. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
They switch and they
Can you turn down a
breach.
little bit?
Oh, sorry, am I too loud for you?
No, I just told Dan, our producer, to turn the volume down a little bit. You're good.
Yeah, they switch and they breach, and so
they're rolling around.
Yeah. I mean, at first they said C-section, and then they said, we might be able to do a natural birth, but don't do C-section. And then they said, and then it's no, wait, now the other one's breached. And the boy's just a dick. He just will not stop kicking the other one. It's like a junior suite apartment. He keeps kicking the girl, and so then the girl wakes up. So.
Oh. Yeah. So how far in is she?
She's due late July, early August.
Oh wow, that's coming right up.
Yeah, and I've got a big surgery July 1st, so I'm trying to get everything done in a hurry.
Is that your first?
It is. It is. Yeah, we talked about on the show quite a bit. My wife had a basic operation for I won't talk about it, she probably won't, but basically then she woke up with something called GBS. So we kind of, it wasn't really fertility issues, it was a physical issue. And GBS actually paralyzes you from the waist down. So
that's what she was experiencing?
Yeah, when she came out, just because they put her under. And so it's interesting, like, I'm like a pro vaxxer, generally speaking, but she can't even get a flu shot. It's one of the few conditions because the GBS is a neurological condition where she has to be careful with any vaccine. So it's just been a weird navigation. But this is your second, right?
Yeah, this is going to be our second. So we've been through it. Yeah. But, and it's just one. It was supposed to be three, but the one child cannibalized everyone, and he has gained their energies to become the ultimate human being.
I feel like that's what happens with the Olsen twins. I'm convinced that one of them's evil.
One of them ate the third one?
Yeah, something happened there. It seems like whenever you see them in pictures, there's one who's more disturbing. But
maybe you're right.
But all right, I appreciate you coming on and doing this. And doing this. A lot of people don't. So just talking, avoiding kind of the social media pissing contest drama. So are you ready to go?
So I just want to make one clarification. So in terms of, we're both going to record it, and then we can use it wherever we want, on your show, on my show, whatever, right?
Yeah. Okay. And we can send you the file if we want because we have the master file, everything. So
I think we're good, right? Dan, we're recording it on our end.
Okay. Yeah, we never use Zoom either. Did you ever get sold on that Skype TX box? Remember when that came out?
Oh no, I've always had such a pain with Skype that Zoom's always been really good. So
well, the Skype TX box was like from New Tech, I think, and they sold us on that. So this is what Jimmy Kimmel uses and all these people. And well, Skype TX, it's like a box. It's almost like remember the Commodore boxes? No, it sucks. So what we had to do is we just have Mac Minis set up, and Skype has played well with those, but not the exclusively designed Skype TX box that we paid whatever premium for.
Yeah, Skype. I don't trust Skype. Skype has always sucked.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll just.
and then okay, so we're gonna record it, and then the topics are just like we said about authority with the vaccine, and there was something else you mentioned. I don't know how.
Well, I just thought, however you want to do it. I thought that since that was kind of the subject that got us into a tiff, that we could talk about sort of the CDC, sort of medical authorities, and tell me where you disagree with me, and then also kind of big tech because that ties in, the CDC, World Health Organization. And I'll introduce it to my, I have a little bit of a different audience, so let them know kind of who you are, what's going on. And if you want to do the same, that's fine. But
yeah, of course, we'll let them know.
All right.
Okay.
Go. And
all right,
I'll give you a countdown, and then I'll 3, 2. All right, okay, I'm really glad to have my next guest on the show, and I've always respect people who enter into the arena. And kind of a lot of debates on the show, which is different from what we sit in on conversations. But my old Brazilian jiu-jitsu coach said, if you come switch, we go switch. You go spicy, we're going to do a little spicy. So we always try and keep it as respectful as possible. And I really do appreciate the guy making the time because a lot of people have a huge YouTube channel, several YouTube channels, one of the OGs. A lot of people watch him. Some of you like him, some of you don't. Same can be said for me. Ethan Klein from H3. Ethan, thanks man for making the time.
You're very welcome, and I just want to say, I know you said that would be a layup.
I think you something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right because I don't think I'm a very good debater. I think you know that. So I don't want to make it too easy for you.
Oh, okay.
So I prepared.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So what we're going to talk about is the initial quote that happened. I think he's looking off there. The initial quote that kind of was turned into a little bit of a meme, which wasn't intentional, and was you saying you don't even have to think about it regarding the CDC. And I disagree with that. I think people should think about it. I believe, and we talked about this through Playful. We're living in an aggregation of medical authorities and scientific voices to make an informed and rational decision. So where do you think that I'm wrong on?
Stephen, do you know that the Spartans are like practice man love with children?
Oh, gee, okay, so this is what's going to happen. What did I tell you? He was going to do anything he could to avoid. Oh, there he is. Oh, no, Sam Seder. What a fucking nightmare.
Thank you, Stephen.
I had no idea this was going to happen. I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy. This is where we are. Yeah, I told Dave, remember I told you? I said, I guarantee you're going to do anything you can to avoid the debate.
Well, I just think he believes that he should debate.
Wait. No, he doesn't. He just takes advantage of women with, mental.
Why did he show that? Hold on.
Health issues. I had no idea this was going to happen. What did I tell you? He was going to do anything he could to avoid. Oh, there he is. Oh, no, Sam Seder. What a fucking nightmare.
Thank you, Stephen.
I had no idea this was going
He literally shows that, like, his producer's, like, running across the camera.
to happen. I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy.
Get the fuck over it.
This is where we are. Yeah, Dave, remember I told you? I said, I guarantee you're going to do anything you can to avoid the debate.
Well, I just think he believes that he should debate you.
No, he doesn't. He just takes advantage of women with, mental health issues. Ethan Klein doesn't stand up and do his own fighting.
I got to say,
Let's bring on FM.
That you would do anything to avoid talking to me. I think the point
is include Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan and Dave Rubin and Jordan Peterson and Noam Chomsky and Sam Harris. Everyone's been avoiding.
Not just attempting to get your audience by jumping in.
Well, Stephen, I mean, it's about issues.
It's about issues, yeah. That's what you're doing here.
Some valid points.
You're so clever. I had no idea that you were taking your show off early last time, coming in today with your pig pen peanuts.
I wish every...
You take those off with the velveteen buttons.
Stephen, I don't know.
No one's worried about it. Sam, I want to do it.
Sam, come on. I'll tell you what. I have a general rule. I don't start a debate based with people on a lie. And how about you get to a 30th of the audience?
Howard, Stephen, show you.
30th of the audience.
Ethan, you should show yourself.
Ethan, how can you respect yourself as a man, brother?
Something so strongly that you're not willing to debate.
I'm showing you a little leprechaun.
Right. Ethan, come on. Ethan, why do you have to bring on a guy who has a 30th of the viewership of yourself?
Saddest thing I've ever heard. So you have a guy with less viewers to come on to debate him because you...
Why don't you? Apparently, you had to think about it, bro.
Yeah, you had to think about it.
Well, look, you're the one who got
the debate. You're the one that got angry about it.
Look, hold on a second. All right, hold on. Let me hear what Payton has to say here really quick.
Fair enough.
But Ethan, look, hold on a second, Ethan. Because initially I came out here to talk with Ethan. Ethan, come on, man. Look, the same reason that I haven't ever had a conversation with Sam Seder is the same reason that Joe Rogan, Sam Harris, Brett Weinstein, Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro don't owe him anything. It's based on a lie, Ethan. Just like you claiming my booker reached out to you, Ethan, when you know that's not true. There's no one ducking you, Sam. I've never. Sam. I can call out Mike Tyson. It doesn't mean that I'm ducking him.
You are so worried.
Why do you feel that anyone Why do you feel that anyone owes you airtime when you have a 40th of the audience and you've been doing the show
I don't
for
think
10 times as long?
airtime. I think that Ethan has just given it to me.
Right.
I didn't ask him for it.
Right.
But by the way, has given audience to Lacey Green, a person with a similar sub count to Sam. Anyways.
You've been begging for it for a long time with everyone bigger than yourself.
Yeah, he found
He
a way
can't
to
build an
engage
audience,
with
and so what happens is he
Why are
uploads
you so
15
worried
times
about-
more,
do you
has
think
less than
your
a 50th of the
audience-
audience.
Well, that's why he wants to
Do you
debate
think
you,
your
is so he can
audience-
build his
Sam,
audience.
Sam, come on.
Do you think your audience
Yeah.
cares that I only have 1 million subscribers and you have what, 6 or 7
I think,
million
let me answer, can I answer your question? Can I answer your question? Can I answer your question? Do you want me to answer your question? My audience would say Sam who? Just like Joe Rogan's audience and Ben Shapiro's
now
and
they
Dave
all
Rubin.
know who I
Now
am.
they all know who
You
you are
just
because you had to
because
shoehorn
your
yourself into
audience
another
brought
Howard
yourself
show.
into another
College
show.
students, every day that you do
Why
that,
are we
change
Hold on a
my
second.
mind.
Hold on a second.
They don't know who
This
those
is another lie.
college
This is another lie.
students are.
Let me clarify, Sam. Let me clarify, Sam. The change my mind. Everyone knows on the show, right? We've had
How
professors
did
on
you
the.
know I
This is
ended
what
my
he's not
show
gonna talk
early
about.
last week, Stephen? If your
Because you're an
audience doesn't
idiot,
even
and
know
half
me,
of your
how did
staff
know that?
doesn't like you.
watch my
Because I'm a
show?
diehard fan.
Yes, it's because he's a diehard fan.
Well,
There,
if
I had
you're a
heard of you,
diehard fan,
but I just met
why
you. Congratulations,
not
Sam
have me
Cedar's fan.
and
I'm just a
Stephen have a
huge fan.
conversation?
I like.
Well, right
We'll
now,
talk
every time I
about
try and
the
talk, you're
issues you
interrupting,
wanna talk
Sam.
about,
Yeah,
Stephen.
Right now, I'm trying to talk with you. You're interrupting, Sam.
bombarded the show to
You
debate.
bombarded. You bombarded my show under a false pretense. You claim that everyone, just like you claim that I ducked a debate with you under a false pretense. Have I ever?
That is what the Politicon people told
Oh,
me.
is that what they
I
told you?
played the
So you're just
audio.
lazy with your research?
And if big tech is
You continue with the
What
lie.
I need.
See, this sent out. This again. This might be. This seems like it's like a big, like a lot of shit is going on here, basically. But again, Steven brings up that thing where it's like, oh, you're being lazy with your research. There's no more research to be done. Sam called the people that booked, that do the booking for Politicon. They said we had Steven here, and Steven bailed. What more research can you do? Who the fuck else are you gonna call? Are you gonna call Steven directly? We all know he would. A, he wouldn't answer because Sam Cedar's calling him. B, he would lie. What the fuck? Of course he's gonna fucking what? Hello?
You need to research and say, did Steven ever accept?
They
Let
said
me
you were
explain to you. Let me explain to you.
They
Let me
said
explain to you.
you
Hey,
were
whoa,
booked,
whoa,
and
whoa,
then
Sam.
you dropped out and you
Sam,
literally
Sam,
are
Sam, Sam,
at
sweetheart.
ColdFeet.
Sam, fake stand-up comic who we can't find any footage about online. Let me finish.
I'm not a stand-up comic.
Oh, you're not? Okay, that makes sense because everything that I've seen is incredibly unfunny and unentertaining, which may explain the
I'm not
audience
a
numbers.
stand-up
Ironic,
comic.
irony alert. Steven.
Comedian,
How much of the
comedian.
rest of my stuff, Stephen,
Sam,
and you think that
can I
your
answer your
audience
question?
wouldn't appreciate
Sam,
our
Sam.
Yeah, I'm just gonna skip.
Don't hide behind the glasses, Sam.
Don't say let's debate, Ethan. You've lost that opportunity.
Ethan's lost the debate. All right, this is sad. This is why we don't.
Ethan, shut up.
All right, good. You guys are good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Won't even take off the glasses. All right, yeah, you can give it GX. This is. I knew the guy just thought.
Was that all right?
The guy thought that no, we're still going. The guy thought that we had no. I mean, we have the master. Quarterback, can you put on your microphone?
Yeah.
Is he still on?
We have the master. No, I cut him off. We have the master file. We knew.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what happens. Like someone like a Sam Cedar who just
He didn't even wait.
He
He
never lets you
immediately-
speak.
I like
It's
how he
just-
goes, your little leprechaun co-host, because he's still mad that I said he looked like a transgender Wayne and you know that's just...
No, that's not the reason at all. What? You sound really mad, dude.
been eating at him for the last month.
Well, you know, and this is the thing too. Is we don't do debates based on lie. Like I can call out Mike Tyson, I can call out Evander. It doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
And so when someone says, "Hey, you said you would do this," and you just admitted that, of course, there's no proof for that. Well, I heard this from so and so. Yeah, but there's no evidence. We'll bring up. We can bring up here the direct messages.
So Steven here is the one now. I think you fucked up his joke last time. He's the one. So I guess his joke before was him trying to compare himself. That he's Mike Tyson and Steven is some guy trying to.
I hate to do this, but with Ethan, it was, "Hey, we'll talk, you and I."
Yeah, let's see. Sometimes he literally shows these on screen and they mean nothing. Hey, Steven, I'm down to debate. It could be fun. Maybe about COVID. Since the Dr. Fauci mask thing started this all. I'm open though. Link how you want to do it. Hold on. If I so I can go like this. Oh, I should have upgraded and then done this. That's okay. Yeah, I did that a little backwards. I think this just so you can get that guy. Hey man, thanks for reaching out. I do appreciate it. Really, anyone who enters the arena has my respect. Anyone who enters the arena has my anyone. I don't know why you would highlight that part. And I'll be sure that this reflects that's reflected on there. If you send your email, you should have highlighted that part. Continue. Anyways, I can have Darren, his dad, reach out and set it up. Easiest would probably be just to tape it on Skype either this week or next week. My travel schedule is a little nutty, so I can't confirm which day would work yet. Should upgrade it again, but
Better hire a recruit while you can.
okay. What else did this say? Okay. Schedule would work and pop it into your. Wait. I can't confirm which day would work and pop it into our show unedited. You can use it too if you want to run it unedited. Obviously, no tricks, no zags, just you and me. Okay, there it is. That's literally all you should have highlighted. I'll make sure none of my buddies are in the studio to be any kind of distraction, and we can talk about the. Except for that went out the window really fast, but you know, kind of whatever. But in the studio, we can talk about the distribution that we fundamentally have had initially from trusted authorities, sources to what we do to relations as a pro boat. We can also discuss to what level big tech is within the right in making editorial decisions, removing content. I'm sure any of that. I'm down for any of that. Well, yeah, those are good topics. Could we do one debate on our show, one on yours? Yeah, you're a producer though. You email me. You email my guy Dan. Hold on. He's my producer. They can work out the times. Oh, I see. We'll have one debate we can both use. That's cool. I'm down for that. He sounds great.
Man to man, no one else will come in. Matter of fact, I was going to say, if I have my phone, I can take a picture right here. So there's no prompter. It's just him on a call, and he's terrified. I don't know how someone like that can live their life as a man.
Well,
Wait, what?
Just also talked very cordially to you about family.
Oh, yeah.
But what I really hate about that is then he immediately pulled it, which shows no character, no class, a complete manipulation.
Okay, dude, keep coping.
Well, but here's the thing. He has a show that's dwindling. No one cares about it. But so then he wants the drama.
A dwindling show.
Back up and turn it around.
Okay. He's so strange. He's a character. This is a Crowder guy. He's a big character.
That's what I would have picked.
I don't. Yeah. Okay. Play this. Yeah, okay, talks fine. Okay. Play talks. Tell this. Play this. Tell this. Get this. Play this. Keep it? Yeah. We'll keep it. Play this.
I actually want to have a conversation, but I'm not going to have a conversation. Here's my cutoff. A general, serious rule?
Yeah.
1/20th of the audience. Otherwise, I have no time in the day.
1/20th of the audience. Again, I'm no genius, but 5 mil to 1 mil is a fifth, not 1/20th. One point 1.1 mil divided by 5 equals. I'm not writing this. Equals 0.2. Steven. That's
Any defeat that doesn't destroy you makes you strong.
I don't know how small. Like, I'm no genius there, but he doesn't have that the small audience that you say he does have. He's not a 20th. He got a 5th of the audience. That's a very big difference. Like, that's not a small margin.
I like where you're going with this.
Oh, nice.
That's a great play. I can't wait
That's
to
a
see
great
this
play.
shakeout.
Oh. I'm going mostly elementals. I don't know if I want to throw in a light fang there. Yeah, no.
Better hire a recruit while you can.
We're going mostly elementals. I'm going to stick with that.
I'll save these ones for later.
And I'm debating every Twitter egg.
Well, right, but here's my point of how you win something very, very easily. Your whole point is you're talking about...
Now, I know Steven's audience is pretty dumb, and they probably can't do math. But 1 million Sam's sub base to 5 million is not a 20th. That's a 5th. Okay?
that you have questions about.
Right.
He claims that something you don't even have to think about. That's a bold statement to make. So when you go to challenge him on that, his side has to explain why he feels that way. So he sneaks in another guy because he doesn't feel
You have
that
a holster, bro.
He's bought and paid for.
You have a holster, bro.
That was his argument.
Let me show you how to use it.
You don't have to think about it, dude.
And he's and this
what
is
an
the,
asshole.
here's the thing. I was really curious too, and then we'll go back to the show, I guess. I was really curious from someone like H3H3, who, well, you know, Quarter Black, you used to watch him. Made his bones. I mean, he has $15 million worth of real estate in Los Angeles. He made it all with anti-social justice warrior content, you know, triggering feminists, snowflakes. And then,
not really. Close, but not really.
and not only that, but he was more aggressive than me. If you go back and watch, he talked about how he was demonetized.
Yeah. There's a portion of that. That's not where most of his wealth came from, but there was of course a saga, of course. Maybe most of his money came from that. I don't know. Obviously, you need to show me the details. But regardless, you can change your mind, Steven. See, I know you never do that. I know that if anyone tells you any information that goes against your information, you will never ever change your mind. I understand that, but some people actually do change their mind over time. People actually do evolve over time, unlike you. I understand it's hard for you to do that. Actually impossible for you to do that. But people do that all the time, okay? The CDC does it. Every scientist on the planet does that. Everyone except for you, I guess, in your audience. But it's okay.
You know, he used the word like 50 times, and with context just said, I just love saying the word. Which, you know, it's not really couched in a joke.
No.
It's just him saying it.
Can you get millions of dollars for that?
But what
Apparently,
and I remember him back in the day, and I used to, I didn't really like his content, but I remember.
He almost said it. He almost said it.
Hey, YouTube should actually find a way to monetize my content that's edgier and older, because networks would be lining out the door for older male content. So he was actually more aggressive in fighting the corporate censorship than me. And then one meeting with Susan Wojcicki, and he brags on his show about how he has the YouTube VP on text, on speed dial, and all of a sudden he's saying, all lives matter is something that people shouldn't be allowed to say. That our attack on him is bordering on medical misinformation.
That's funny.
People should be deplatformed. I don't understand. People change their minds. I'm really curious, though, when you see someone who makes their entire living, who builds up their brand and their empire on anti-wokeness, on anti-corporate censorship, who then does a 180 and supports it at every turn. And I thought we would have had a good opportunity to discuss that, specifically Ethan and myself, not Sam Seder, because, you know, Ethan was the one who said we should go with the CDC and World Health Organization.
He was the one that had the argument.
Those are the big tech guidelines.
But Ethan didn't debate you for 8 seconds.
No, he was immediately
went immediately to
anybody,
this,
quick.
to Sam Seder.
Whatever. You know, all right.
Well, I gotta be honest, I had never heard of till now. Not that it matters if you've heard of anybody, But the only thing I've ever heard.
I heard of it.
Not that it matters. Wait, that's Samson. That's Steven's entire goddamn argument. Whoa, produce. Hey, shut up.
Because of the fact that he started, trolls with a lie that
I thought he was Seth Simmons, that guy who makes bird calls and said Norm Macdonald wasn't. I swear to God, that's who I thought it was.
The Goodyear guy?
Yeah, the guy he got my friend Shane kicked off of SNL.
Oh,
yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's who I thought it was. I mean, granted, it's kind of him, but it's a different person. I think it's.
Honestly, I feel like it is kind of sad.
Yeah.
It is kind of sad.
Well, here's an idea. Maybe just take the joke that we turned it into a soundbite.
Yeah.
Stop being so pissed off.
Well, I think there are going to be quite a few more sound bites of Ethan on the soundboard. So
yeah, maybe so.
Let's continue on with the kind of show that someone like H3 would never be capable of doing. Not only just that, remember, we provide references for you. So on with the show.
Wait, what?
And now we're back to live. It's like a time lapse.
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
So there you go. I think Gerald, that was your first time.
That was watching
it.
I had to do the unenviable task of watching their version of events yesterday, and I don't know if they did any like screwing around with audio or anything, but when I watched it, I couldn't hear you guys very well.
Oh, that's funny. It's funny you say that because that's what they said about you. Maybe you guys both scrubbed each other's audios, idiots.
When I watched this one, I could hear you.
There was definitely screwing around with audio.
Yeah,
well, maybe because but you're also screwing with the audio because we could barely hear them. Maybe it's just hard to balance audio, guys.
They're in their studio, so it's
maybe there's a number of different.
Well, I could never see him or really hear him aside from that.
That's true.
And that was not obvious, right? So the whole time I was thinking that you could
you got a gun holster, bro.
You could see him, and what they were basically doing, switching behind the scenes so that they could put Ethan back on,
right,
and make it look like they were going back and forth. So just to be clear, everybody out there, Ethan was on there for what you saw, and then it was Sam Seder for what, like a little bit of time before you even acknowledged his presence.
Well, there was a lag, there was delay, and all this stuff. So look, this is why, and you got
on their feed, by the way, it was this stupid idiot in the chair for like the entire time. So, like, who the fuck cares about how it like appeared on screen?
You guys can comment below. This is the issue. Is just like I just don't want to have a debate based on a lie. You know what I mean? Like going around saying, "Oh, his booker reached out to us as H." No, or "Oh, Stephen did the political." No, it's like I've never.
Then show us that never. Well, I guess you can't show us that never happened.
Your minions really pulled their weight.
But if somebody, I don't know, dude, you would think that. Like go sue Politicon then. Hey, you've defamed me. You said I agreed to appear on something that I didn't appear on. It's causing me grief. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? But instead, like, no, it's just kind of doing a little bit of trolling. Who should I get rid of? Probably just this guy, right?
I like where you're going with this. I didn't like that one either. Here's a gold for the trouble.
It's garbage.
I like where you're going with this.
Bug.
Never wanted to do those things, and this whole thing,
No.
I think Sam Cedar, they were just saying like we had this scheduled. No, it was me and Ethan. And Ethan just, the biggest cell phone, honestly, is that Ethan just been, I'm an idiot, bro. I can't debate. It's like, yeah,
He
but
admitted
you
that
reached
several
out to
times.
me to debate.
Yeah, bro. Don't.
Your whole
why
thing
would
was
you-
a lie. I mean, for you
It'd be
to
like-
take that same part would be like basically somebody going up and interviewing the streaker at a soccer match who's just like, please, somebody look at me.
Attention,
I want
attention.
attention. Right? That's exactly what it was. But he made a point. He said, hey, I've got 1 million subscribers. I mean, what does that mean?
Well,
and I did some research and I was like, okay, well, like 1 million more than I have. So fine, we'll take a look at it. It's not what we do, but fine. He has 3% of the viewership with 17 times the amount of uploads. So just to give you perspective.
Wow.
Oh my god. What a fucking what a whiz. Oh, I died. Nice me. Wait, what? 2 over the average. I got actually fucked on that one. Okay, dude. Anyways, so what a weasel word out of there, okay? Steven, this entire time, you have 150 odd, you have 150 odd, 120 at the 120 at the odd, 120 at the odd, 120 at the odd, 120, whatever. And then he brings up the subscribers, he's like, fuck. Oh, damn it. Oh no, that's a 5th. Oh fuck. Okay, we gotta get that number closer. What do? We go and look at the video, like, views. Like, okay. Let's see. 66K, 90K, 50K, 33K, 11K, 90K, 80K, 90K, 200K, 50K, 250K. Oh. There's another video I haven't seen here. 30K, 18K, 9K, 16K, 40K, 90K, 50K. So like, okay, all that. Go to Crowder's channel. 600K. No, these are all the big shitters. Of course, it's gonna get a million views. So 700K, 1 mil, 800K, 50K. Again. So on average, you're averaging maybe, let's say you average around 1 million views, and I'd say maybe on average, Sam might average. Tough. Sam might only average like well 30. Even if Sam. Yeah. Okay. I mean, you're closer. You're closer to the 20th mark there. You're closer to your. Like Jesus.
3% of the viewership. So it's
Right.
not like he's got 1 million people watching his videos. By the time we have this one come out tomorrow, it maybe 1 million, million and a half views.
And that's not the only thing. I want to be clear. Like, I know I've debated people who are professors, people who are experts,
Yeah.
or it's got to be an audience that's somewhat comparable. Otherwise, every single Tom, Dick, and Harry and Twitter
Exactly.
egg would be taken. You know, I think a general rule is, and I'm thinking of being generous, like I said, a 20th.
There you go.
Of the audience, just because, look.
What does that mean? And also, by the way, it's not a 20th. I think his producer right there just said a 17th. Again, not a 20th.
Look, I have a wife with twins. There's not so much time in the day.
Yeah,
But
it does take time.
Everybody wants a shot at the champ.
Well, yeah, and I
The
should say
champ. I can't. I can't keep up. It's too cringe.
champ, but it doesn't even really require, you know, a journeyman.
Well,
for
you
someone
do
like Ethan.
Well,
and
you
the
do comedy?
saddest part about this is that Ethan, is it just me or did Ethan just like, he's like, you said I was a layup? Yeah, let me prove it.
Yeah.
yeah. Let me confirm.
Let me
right
confirm.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not an own, dude. This is so weird. Like, God damn it. That's like, okay. That's like if you both, let's say you and Steven go to the gym, and Steven goes, hey man, let's have a lift off, I guess. You know, I'm gonna lift my max and you can lift your max, and you know, and we're gonna go at it. And, you know, and then Ethan goes like, well, my max is not gonna be anywhere near your max. But hey, if you want to, you know, see who has the highest max, like let's go for it. Okay, whatever. That's fine. My max will be nowhere near yours, but hey, well, whatever, we'll go for it. And then he goes and does like, and then Steven does his max and does it, and then Ethan walks up and tries to do the same weight and doesn't do it. And you're like, why would you admit that, dude? Like, what? How do you? We both walked into this knowing that I was the. So it's like, but what happened instead was like, hey, like let's have a lift off. You know, I don't really know anything about anything. I'm not going to be able to max as much as you do, but if you want to, whatever. And then, like, you know, Ethan brings in the mountain. Anyways.
Exactly.
And the only thing that they have is like, oh, you didn't expect that I was going to bring in someone else. Okay. Well, that's exactly what I expected. Only because the only thing that can be expected.
Okay, and then I ran away like a little bitch anyways. Like, that's basically what it
Someone like, and this happens with a lot of people on the left, is just cowardice. It's just lies. We've had this happen in the past with debates where people set a time and then don't show up. And then and that's just why we don't do it all that much. I'd like to do them live. Like I said, I would love to have someone like Noam Chomsky on the show.
Yeah.
I would have back in the day, someone like a Hitch.
How many fans does Noam Chomsky have? Does Noam Chomsky have a YouTube channel? Or is he going to say that he's an expert? He'll probably just say that he's an expert. I would assume that he would just say that he's an expert, even though he's like 90 years old.
People who are actually going to sit down and have conversations and who are experts.
Right, because debates like this other guy wants to do are basically just interrupting you and who has the best one-liner in the moment. That's not how you put your viewpoints out there. That's how you try.
Steven. I'm pretty sure Steven's the one who started that. Sam just wanted to talk about this. This is so funny. I don't
try to score points and try to get viewers. By the way, I love that the entire time that they were talking about this, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's just clickbait. He's just throwing stuff out for clickbait." Sam, your entire gig is clickbait.
That's your gig,
challenging
dude.
people that have audiences.
I can't. This is too stupid. It's just, there's so much projection happening. I can't watch more of it. Your entire thing is clickbait. You want to read some Steven Crowder titles? Trump wins again. Trolls Kamala Harris. Biden is way more divisive than Trump. The greatest self-own. H3H3 Rex. Like, I don't.
I think our picture should be improved by now.
Yes.
So, folks, this is the fun half of the program. And for those of you who may be watching this show for the first time, generally what we do is we do a show from 12 to 1 every day. Eastern. That is the free half of the show. And we feature often a long-form interview. Sometimes Em and I will run through the news. And very rarely, when we go on vacation, we will pre-tape. Let me read this IM to enter into some explanations for you, because I think some explanations are due you, the audience. This is an IM that we got almost at the beginning of the show. And it's from a guy named Chowder with Crowder, which is fortuitous. Stream resolution kind of fucked up, Sam. You're being squished horizontally, but only the camera feed logo appears normal. And that is correct. That was a correct assessment of what was going on. And the question was, why?
Well, it was to make you look skinnier. And me.
That is one of the answers.
True, yeah.
The other answer, I should also say, has to do with, you will look at my Zoom feed today, and you will notice that my name, you got Emma Vigeland there in the right-hand corner of your, the left-hand corner of your frame. But for me today, I don't have Sam Seder. I have a smiley face. All of these things have to do with each other. Everything, in fact, that we have talked about since the beginning of the show, including the IM, has to do with each other. Let's go back a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe it was 4 weeks ago, I can't remember. I got an IM, I got tweeted at. Sam, you got name checked on H3. And I was like, H3? I think that's it's a big YouTube show, but I was like, what?
Yeah.
And so I went to check it out, and it is hosted by this guy Ethan Klein, who I may know some people who know him in the comedy world. He's out in LA, but and he look familiar to me. But that's probably because he looks like family members or whatever. And I was like, what's this about? And it turns out they were talking about Steven Crowder. And Steven Crowder and Ethan were having some type of back and forth. And I didn't know the details of it at the time, but their producer, Dan, at the end of the segment, turns to the camera and says, this is the only time I'm going to have to address Crowder, because I know he's going to watch this. And I remember thinking, well, yeah, this is a big channel, I guess. But I mean, is Crowder really that thin-skinned that he's going to tune in to every time his name is mentioned on a show? I mean, anyways, Dan looks at the camera and says, hey, debate Sam Seder. And he goes on about telling the story about the Politicon. Folks can go back and look for the video that we did when I played the audio of the Politicon booker calling me and telling me the Crowder had dropped out. And
cold feet, in fact.
He said that was her words, that he got cold feet because his team pulled him out, and his team is his dad, apparently. And I had also been invited on the Gavin McInnes show. I didn't want to go on there, but they offered up, we got Crowder to debate, and then Gavin wrote me back and said, no, Crowder doesn't want to debate you, whatever. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And so that's why Dan had said this. And I thought, oh, that's great. We played the clip of it. That was really nice to get that shout out.
Big podcast, big show.
Big show, big podcast. And then I get a DM from Ethan, like a week later or something like that. And he says, hey, Steven Crowder wants to debate me. And he's like, I don't do a political show. He's like, I think
we have to upgrade.
you should
need to
come
take
on and debate him
auto win.
as I'm, on with him. And I was like, I would love to do that. Thank you. And so last week, you'll recall, last Monday, they were scheduled to have a debate at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is 10 a.m., I think it was Pacific. And so you'll recall last week we started the show early. And here is where I need to make an apology to the audience. I implied that the reason why we were doing that was because I was recording the Bob's Burgers movie.
I would not say you implied it. In fact, you tweeted about it later. So
well, if you look at that
white
tweet,
lie.
if you look at that tweet, Emma, I did not say.
Oh, the lawyering, Jesus.
Well, if you look at the tweet, bring it up. Can we bring this up, Brendan? Can you find it? On that tweet, I did not say I ended the show early because I am recording Hugo for Bob's Burgers for the movie. Instead, I tweeted, and Brendan, do you have this? Okay. It is,
these are all
I
trash.
tweeted, let me see if I can pull it up here on my own. I tweeted instead, sorry about the show being early, ending the show early today. However, the good news is I can tell you that I recorded that Hugo's on Bob's Burgers. Now, all of that is true. Yeah, here it is. Apologies for the early start today for Majority.fm. ... Second thought, happens to be unrelated.
Yeah.
But was in the same tweet. I can, however, happily report that Hugo will make a cameo in the Bob's Burgers movie. Now, the fact is that no, I had recorded that a couple days earlier. What? But why, Sam, would you tweet that? Well, we started the show early. We ended at 12:30 p.m., which was 30 minutes before the debate that
11
Crowder,
to 12:30.
Yeah,
if you guys remember.
That Crowder had planned with Ethan Klein on H3. And so we connect with H3 through Zoom, and like immediately after we're done with the show, and then 4 or 5 minutes later, they go, oh, we just got an email from Crowder's dad that Stephen had an emergency with his wife who's pregnant. And this is actually sort of disturbing.
We were concerned.
We were concerned. And I'm being serious about that, actually. And he can't do it. However, we will reschedule for next Monday at noon. And Ethan says they knew that you were getting off your show early, and they're afraid that you're going to be debating him. And I got to say that I was like,
come on, Ethan.
I don't think I said that to him because I was like, I didn't want to be, rude, but I was like, I'm not sure about that. Like, would he really pretend that his wife, who's pregnant with 2 kids, is in jeopardy? And would he really be monitoring when our show is off the air? That's absurd. That's absurd that he would do that. I mean, how afraid would he have to be? How paranoid would he have to be that he's engaged with a debate with somebody else? I'm just trying to put my mind in the same mind frame. Like, I've got a debate scheduled with Tim Pool. And I'm like, I'm going to monitor the show of Dave Rubin to see that he hasn't changed his live show, because what if Dave Rubin comes on when I thought I was going to debate Tim Pool?
I mean, that would probably be like the equivalent of Christmas for you.
That would be, yeah.
Or Hanukkah.
It would actually, I think it's actually, there's no
equivalent.
There's no equivalent. It would be
a birth of another child.
But I'm trying to put my head into that mind. Like, how afraid would I have to be that paranoid about it? And so I found it really hard to believe. But it was weird that, hey, we have an emergency. I mean, this is the grandfather of those kids. if I was that guy, I would be like, look, we have an emergency, can't get back to you. I wouldn't give the details because why would I? And I'm like, it's an emergency and I'll get back to you later in the week to reschedule. But no, they reschedule it for 12 p.m. on Monday, Eastern, which is exactly when we go live.
By the way, which is also interesting because before, when they were booking other stuff via Twitter, Steven was very particular in saying that his schedule is very, very hectic, so he can't confirm a date right now. But suddenly he can easily confirm a date. It's just a very small nitpick thing.
That's so weird.
But I told this to other friends, you know, friends who are not in this world, and they're like, dude, do you think that he's really that afraid of just like debating you? Like, it's not in person. It's not like you're some type of assassin. I said, even if I was, he carries a gun. He has a holster that he wears all the time with a gun.
It's his costume.
Yeah, I mean, his costume is ready to defend himself too.
Normalizing it.
But I was like, but Ethan thought that, and he's a pretty savvy guy when it comes to like YouTube stuff and these guys.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, let's pre-tape the show. And I pre-taped the interview last week with Stephen Wertheim. Great interview.
Yeah. That's why I had to step out.
Yeah. Well, if people watched the show today, they noticed also that we were stretched. And that is because we're back in the studio and we haven't quite set up our system to do the show and to output it. And so we were just like, oh, fuck it. Let's just run it. And so we pre-recorded the intro and the outro to make it for today at like 10:30.
You coordinated your shirts very effectively.
And Emma kept reminding me, and that's why I was like surprised.
I was
when
like,
Emma
make
showed
sure you wear the same shirt each time.
Yes. And then Matt was furiously trying to stitch it together so that we could turn it around in time. And we connected with Ethan's show, H3, via Zoom. And that's why I have in my logo in the left.
You're right.
Right there is a smiley face because I wasn't sure how we were doing this. And I know that when we're bringing somebody onto our Zoom, you see their name first and their audio is connecting. And I'm like, just in case, Crowder. And let's go around the room right now. Brendan, I want you to participate in this. Well, wait a second. Let me just pull it up. And so we connect with Ethan and he says, look, guys, Dan, our brilliant technology guy, has figured out like it's going to be Crowder's Zoom. So you're not going to come onto the Zoom. We're going to be able to just feed you in to the Zoom. And so we're sitting here. I think I shot like a video during it. We're just waiting and watching the IMs with the ratio is messed up. And I'm like, yeah, people are going to be.
I can't wait to see the videos I took, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And so we're waiting for this. And I can see what's going on there. And then at one point, they show Crowder's empty seat in his studio, and he's not coming on until 2 minutes after we launch our show. And we did it like a minute or two early, right? Yeah, we launched it around 11:58 just so that we could do this. And
yeah, the show actually started right on time today, which Crowder's people should have noticed something was up when that happened.
Well, I mean, that presumes that they were actually monitoring our show.
It does presume that.
It does presume that. Let me just...
I only got enough scaling.
End the story here, ladies and gentlemen. So I can tell you that I want, like, people can IM in what they think would happen. In fact, we should probably put up a poll. We should probably put up a poll. What did Crowder do when, and Ethan, like, I gotta say, Ethan is like, he's a genius at this. I mean, he just, and I'm curious, let's just go around the studio right now and guess what happened. And I will say this, no one here guessed what Crowder would or did not do that really was the icing on the cake.
Yes.
Right? Now, I don't want to give away anything. That's it.
Yeah.
Because Ethan is going to play this for his subscribers, I think, tonight as part of his show. I think they get early release, and then I think people can see it tomorrow after this show. I think it plays.
And we'll, of course, cover it once.
And then once, if anything happened or not, we will...
I mean, there's a chance that what happened was Crowder calmly dispatched you in an intellectual debate.
Well, let's go through the different scenarios. I mean, there's really only 3 scenarios. One is...
He hung up immediately.
He hung up immediately.
Mm-hmm.
The other is we engaged in a debate. He won, I won, it was a draw. One is that as soon as it happened, I had a heart attack. Obviously, I didn't because I wouldn't have recovered this quickly. But maybe he had a heart attack. No one had a heart attack. It's really only those 2 things.
That's the only third option. Is
well, there's a
mutual
third
heart
option
attack?
is that there was just like, a
lot of acrimony.
A lot of acrimony and finger pointing and hurt feelings.
From one end.
From any end, it could have happened. And we're all talking hypothetically now.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that if there was any type of situation, I went in unarmed. I am trying to normalize not wearing a holster on your YouTube show with a gun. Try to normalize that for YouTube hosts. But I do want to. All right, so let's just predictions go around. Emma, what was your guess as to what would happen?
My guess was
try and put yourself in there. Don't cheat.
Well, I was worried going in because he'd already gotten cold feet so many times, right? Hashtag cold feet Crowder. I was concerned that he would back out again and we would have had to come in.
Before the debate even happened with Ethan.
Yeah, I was worried that he would see maybe that there were some differences in the show, since he's clearly monitoring the show. And
he's not clearly monitoring. We haven't established that yet.
Oh, well, yeah, right. I'm sorry about that. I thought that at the time going into the debate that it seemed like he was monitoring, or whatever happened, the potential debate. It seemed like he might have been monitoring the show, so I thought that maybe he would just back out or immediately hang up. I'm not saying that didn't happen, and I'm not saying that it did happen.
Okay. Matt, do you want to... What is it? Okay, you should get on the mic and say
You're not on the mic.
I'll just, in the meantime, I'll read a couple IMs. Crowder, my border collie named Sam. Crowder claimed another emergency and ran out of the room to change his undies. Big Dick Cheney says Crowder bailed immediately, didn't he?
He did just tweet something.
He did?
About that.
Well, hold on. Let's get to that Twitter tweet in a second. Matt, right again. Matt, what did you think your...
I thought, Crowder was going to win the debate so soundly that I wouldn't have a job on Tuesday.
That could have been a possibility. I could have gotten tranced in such a way that it was so trounced. Yes, thank you. I mean, he could have just, I could have mispronounced something. He could have gone off on that for an extended period of time. There were so many ways in which he could have destroyed me. That's true, and that would maybe in some way hinder Matt's future on the show for all of us, really. Brendan, what was your sense of what we would do?
Somewhere between what happened and. I mean,
well, no, you can't say that because we're not.
Well, I think. Well, how can I give anything without revealing something that happened?
I'm saying, what was your mindset before? All right, you're disqualified because now you've given a hint as to what happened. Right.
I don't know. No,
okay.
I didn't.
I thought that if we were successful in jumping on that Zoom, that Crowder would just immediately cut the feed and go we're having technical problems. His producer would come back. We're having technical problems. We just had a power outage. That would involve really quick thinking. And I have to say this, and this is a little bit. I'm hesitant to say this because people can misinterpret this. Like, Sam, you're so full of yourself. But that would have involved at least some that would assume that Crowder was nervous about something like this. It would assume that Crowder would be afraid to debate me if he actually did, as opposed to just being I'm not going to give that little dick the satisfaction of debating. That he would be genuinely, because he's not giving me the satisfaction in that scenario. He's actually being the bigger man, right? He's the one who's saying look.
Oh, he's very much concerned about being a bigger man.
Yes. I mean, if I am bushwhacked like that, the way for me to really show how much more powerful I am than the person who bushwhacks me is to say, okay, you've had your little fun. Now let's do this. I'm not inviting you on the show. I find this to be petty and silly, and it shows how juvenile you are, Sam. This is how I would have reacted. But you know what? You wanted to fight. You wanted to fight me in the arena of ideas. If you wanted to get into the ring, as it were. okay, you're here now, Sam, and now I'm going to pull you apart.
I feel confident because I have the truth on my side.
I have the truth. I have the intellect. I've been doing all these change my mind things. That's the way that I would have done
I
it.
have the moral upper hand in the situation.
Absolutely, because
Right.
I was bushwhacked. I mean, that's what I would have done if I was Crowder. And so, but I assumed what he would do is just like at least be aware of like, look, if this goes sideways, guys, we just pull on the plug. The Zoom connection's bad. We say our power went out. We're gonna have to reschedule another time, and we'll never get around to it. We'll deal with that later. Okay. Certainly, if Sam shows up on there or anybody, or if there's any, because Ethan had told us that Steven's dad had written Ethan and said no tricks, no hijinks,
No, right. No funny business.
no funny business, and so.
Which, I mean, it could have meant you, or it could have meant,
Could have
you
meant
know,
anything.
Could
But
have
it
meant like a
definitely-
whoopee cushion or
No,
something.
we don't.
Okay.
Okay, where we are now with the knowledge of what has happened, we don't know. So all that we know is Crowder canceled a week ago, ostensibly.
What? I don't know.
Because there was a crisis with his pregnant wife.
But
He
minutes
What? Yeah, but I had an interesting problem with it, so it's at the mechanics right now.
after our stream ended.
Minutes after our stream ended. Could have been a coincidence.
I'll come up in like 2 minutes.
He rescheduled for 12 p.m. Eastern when we go live normally. Could have been a coincidence. And that's all we know.
Maybe we'll never know for sure.
Well,
Wait,
no,
we have
we
an
might
idea.
have a better sense.
We have
Or
an
we may
idea
not.
from Binder, who just messaged us in the chat, says, tell Sam my
Wow.
guess is his dad physically pulled him off screen, a la pulling someone off stage with a cane. And then his dad said in person to the camera that Steven had a sudden family emergency.
So,
But it sounds like he's playing, you know, whatever the case may be, 978 degree chess.
well,
is what, you know, he
yes,
tweeted.
yes. Now, Steven Crowder has just tweeted out 978D chess. Now, I guess that's a way of mocking. I guess he just lost at 978 dimensional chess. He also lost at 1-dimensional, I mean, or 3-dimensional chess, too. He lost in ways that if I was his dad, I would be very disappointed.
So you think I lost this, but actually a really complicated game that nobody else understands shows that I actually won this.
That's right. Oh, I mean, is that what he's? Oh, he could be arguing that he's actually playing a double blind situation, right? Like where he actually is operating on such a higher level. That now. So look, folks, I would love to tell you more about the story, but we're gonna have to wait for tomorrow. But I will read some IMs. But I just want to make it clear some major points here. They canceled minutes after we ended our stream last time. Claimed that his wife had an emergency that they had to go to the hospital for. Honestly. And then came on to Ethan's show moments after we went live.
H3.
Yep, H3.
Just so people know.
Just so people know. And so, look, I want to apologize to our audience. I don't know that we told an outright lie, but we certainly obfuscated. How am I supposed to say this?
Obfuscate.
Obfuscated the truth. And for that, I apologize. But I think you'll find it worth it. That's all I can say. I mean, I don't know, but if I had to guess.
All right. I'm going to skedaddle. I've got class soon, very soon. So, oh, thank you. Thanks for being here. This is part 2. Catch it on YouTube as well if you want. I will stream later. I love you, and bye-bye booey.